Hey guys, welcome back to She Knows. I am here with Rob Steinberg of 12 Years a Slave. We are getting ready for the Oscars, and 12 Years a Slave is going in big. You guys have 9 nominations. How is everyone feeling about that?
Well, I can only really speak for myself, but at this point, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I've never been part of a film before that's been given this kind of recognition, or it's even been nominated for, I think, anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, it has definitely been one of the most buzzed about movies during award show season. When you first joined the project, did you have any idea that it would have this kind of effect in Hollywood and the film industry?
I think there's like a set answer for that, which is no, you really never know, but we're so thrilled. But the truth, if you want the truth, is as a small actor in the film, we don't get the whole script, so we just get our sides.
Mhm.
So I noticed that this character appeared at the beginning of the movie and then at the end of the movie in these very sort of dramatic moments. And when I saw that what his position was in the film, and then I started reading about the film, and I took a look at the book and started reading the book, and then I saw the names of the director and the people that were producing, and I thought, wow, based on this kind of story, based on these kind of people putting it together, if everything falls into place,
Yeah.
then yeah, this could be that kind of film.
It is a very intense and emotional movie. Some people have said they don't want to watch it because of the brutality and just how realistic it portrays our history.
Yeah.
Was it hard to actually film the movie and be on set with something so heavy?
Well, my first day of shooting, so, when you shoot, sometimes you shoot out of sequence.
Hmm.
So my first scene was really one of the last scenes in the film where I go down to the plantation and I go out into the fields and fight off Michael Fassbender and bring him home. And when I arrived on set and you see a plantation behind you, and then you see a dozen people dressed as slaves sitting next to a ramshackle little shack where they were supposed to have lived, it becomes very real.
Hmm.
You see people dressed in the period costumes, and the moment becomes very, very, very surreal and very real. So yeah, it was pretty heavy. Hearing words bantered about that, people should never say to one another, the brutality. It's in the dialogue, it's in the story. And when you see it, it's very real, even on set.
Hmm. Were there any moments you guys had to cut and take a moment because someone got so emotionally invested that it was hard to continue?
I'm sure there were during the shooting with some of the other characters. Um, the magical thing about the big scene where I come down with the sheriff, and I'm assuming most people have seen it by now. On set that day, what I noticed that was really magical was that I was unaware of the camera placement.
Hmm.
So as we were doing our scene, and we were running across the field to each other, and he was falling into my arms, and Fassbender was pulling me off, and I was pulling him off, which were pretty intense moments. I was never conscious of cameras, so
Hmm.
everything felt very, very real and true to form. After you do that a lot, a lot of the more tearful moments, you do have to take a break and regroup. But I didn't have to cry. I just had to be strong.
I can only imagine how exhausting it is, though. I mean, with such an intense and emotional movie. But what was the environment like on set? So many cast members always tell us, oh, we joke around, there are pranks, it's so fun. But with a movie like this, I can imagine people are pretty solemn and serious and just like do their job and straight to the point.
What I noticed when I was on set was there was an intensity because of the seriousness of the nature of the film. On days that they were shooting serious and heavy stuff, the cast and the crew themselves even were very, sort of solitary, still, respectful of the moment. Look, when the cameras say, when it's cut at the end of the day, when you have a bite to eat for lunch, you have to smile, you have to take a break and laugh and tell a story. Because of the intensity of the level. I mean, some actors I think would stay in character if they were that kind of method actor.
Hmm.
I think most people just sort of breathe, take a little break, and regroup.
What was it like for you working with some of the bigger names that were attached to this film?
Well, I mean, Chiwetel Ejiofor, who played Solomon Northup, is such an accomplished actor and so brilliant. It's really amazing that he's gotten this kind of recognition, and all the nominations are so well deserved. I mean, he's terrific. It was fun to work with him. It's always fun to work with people that are more accomplished and maybe better than you.
Hmm.
Michael Fassbender has had an amazing career. He's an incredible actor, and The scenes I had with him, they felt very real, that I was taking this man who didn't belong here away from him. I mean, these guys are so brilliant. It's a thrill to work with them. I'll compare it to this. Like, do you play tennis?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to play tennis with someone who's a little better than you.
Right. Pushes you to be better.
Yes, exactly. It ups your game.
Was there anything you learned from being on set or from any of these maybe more experienced actors with the big film industry?
Well, I learned, I think, because of their skill and how good they are, I was able to jump into my character more easily.
Well, Lupita is like a breakout actress for award season. Jennifer Lawrence is kind of taking a back seat to Lupita with award season. So tell us about Lupita, what it was like working with her, and maybe some things we don't know from on set or don't know about her.
Well, I had one brief moment. I mean, the scene in which I take Solomon back and he gets on the carriage. As he's boarding the carriage, he sees her and has to say, sort of a painful goodbye.
Right.
And that was really the only interaction I had with her. I didn't know who she was initially. I did do a little reading and find out about the cast before I went in. And being so young and having studied at Yale and this being her first breakout role, you just knew that she had to be amazing, or else she wouldn't have been cast.
Right.
And then you knew that based on the way the screenplay was written, if she was as amazing as they all hoped she was, that there would be nominations and considerations for, awarding her excellence.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I didn't get a lot of time with her. I got to speak with her somewhat at some of the various parties and premieres and things, and she's lovely.
There is a lot of news right now that there are members from the Academy and even just movie fanatics who refuse to see the movie because of the brutality of the story. Why do you think it is so important for people to see this movie and just take it for what it is?
Well, I can understand why some people have difficulty seeing this movie. I think you need to push past that. And I was talking to somebody last night, a musician, African American, who said that he just doesn't think he can watch the movie. And I've heard that before, and I understand that it's a painful look back into the past, and some people just they want to move past that. They want to move past that negative part of history. But if you don't look at it, and you don't see where it came from, the possibilities of repeating these negative things occur. So I wish everybody in the Academy saw the movie, and I'd like people to be able to struggle past it. My response to him was, everybody who sees this movie walks away affected by it. You can't see this and not be deeply affected and moved, and it's difficult for everybody to see. So it can't be that much more difficult for you to see.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be a struggle for everybody. Do you want the struggle?
Right.
So it's important because the story is a story that most people didn't know about black men being stolen and kidnapped out of the North. I didn't know that before I read this book.
Absolutely. From speaking with people who have seen the movie, how have you heard how it's affected those people or what it's taught them?
Well, again, most people didn't know the situation in which people were kidnapped. So I think it taught them that. And I think the brutality, you don't picture sort of a relentless beating scene. You go, oh, they were beaten. And that's a sentence, and it lasts 2 seconds. But to really make the impact with words, you'd have to describe the beating. You'd have to describe it in detail, in long sentences, so that the description went on as long as the actual beating. Then you get a sense of the brutality on the written page. And people don't typically read long paragraphs about beatings. They just hear the person was beaten, and they compartmentalize it. When you see it so viscerally, when you see the actions and you understand how people really were treated, it's harrowing, and it's hard to watch, and it's affecting to the core.
Well, whether or not 12 Years a Slave walks away with Oscar trophies, you guys have definitely affected America. The book is going to be distributed in public schools for mature high schoolers to read. How does it feel being a part of history like that? I mean, the movie has really set that in action.
Sometimes it takes a big event to bring attention to things. If a celebrity attaches himself to a cause, suddenly that cause gets attention. So when there's attention that can be given to important things by big people or big names, to bring this important cause into the light. It's wonderful. This book is terrifically powerful. I read it, and I've read it twice. I thought it was wonderful. I mean, hard to believe that these things happened, and so important to be in a curriculum for kids to learn this. I mean, this is a great firsthand account of an understanding of what people went through. I mean, like the Diary of Anne Frank is taught in a lot of schools. This is another chapter like that needs to be taught.
Absolutely. Being a part of such a huge movie, is it going to be hard for you to kind of step back and be part of less historical and impactful movies moving forward? Does it make you more picky?
It took 24 years of my career from the moment I started at the age of 30 until now to be part of something so powerful. So I don't take it for granted, and I don't expect it to happen again. I don't expect it to happen again. It'd be wonderful if it did. It'd be nice if I had the kind of choices to read through scripts and say yes and no and yes and no. But I pretty much say yes to everything, almost everything.
Hey, you're like what, 30? I mean, you got
50,
plenty of years.
50, yeah, I got like another 10, dozen years before I'm playing the old Jewish guy with that, oh, too much dairy. Just a few minutes away from that. But it was it's amazing to be part of something like this, and then yes, it will come to an end, and I can only prepare myself by being in the moment, enjoying everything that's going on right now, and being happy for where I am right now.
Be honest. Don't give me a PC answer here. 12 Years a Slave, Gravity, American Hustle. Do you think 12 Years a Slave deserves Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress over those films?
Ooh, see, that was a loaded question. There were a few parts to it. My only answer can be yes, because I'm part of it, and I think that the people who did the work on this film should be recognized. And so I don't want to compare, David O. Russell to Steve McQueen. I don't want to compare Matthew McConaughey to Chiwetel Ejiofor. I think all of these actors and directors did an amazing job with what they had. And these films were terrific, and their performances were wonderful. I'm honored to be part of an organization and a craft that produces this kind of talent.
Well, thank you so much, Rob.
It's my pleasure.
We loved having you in studio. The Oscars is this Sunday. You guys better be watching. Hopefully we'll see 12 Years a Slave take home a few trophies. Thanks for tuning in, and keep checking back for more interviews on SheKnows.com.